Ladies and gentlemen, the pleb is back. In this report, we got to talk about the bombshell news here happening in Canada as a conservative member of parliament has done what is the worst thing you could possibly do and crossed the floor over to the Liberals. Now, I have all the latest updates from this story, including other MPs who are rumored to join the Liberals in the coming days. You won't want to miss this report. Stick around. Before we start this report, please smash that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Over here on this channel, we expose the hypocrisy of the left. So if you think the left are hypocrites, smash subscribe because you found a new home. Welcome to your Wednesday report. Now, I don't know if you've been off the internet for the last 24 hours, but the conservative base right now is absolutely pissed off because they just got absolutely stabbed in the back. Now, for those of you who don't know this guy, his name is Chris Detremont, and he ran for the Conservatives in the last election and won as a Conservative. And now he's crossing the floor. Now, just like a true liberal, as soon as this news came out, Chris locked his account down on X, disabled all his comments everywhere because guess what? He was a liberal this entire time because he is one gigantic coward. Now, reading some of Chris's old tweets here will absolutely get your blood boiling, as it did mine. Like this tweet here from a few months ago saying, people were voting for a change in this election for the sake of our country, for the sake of our economy, and for the sake of our fishery. While we didn't have the result we wanted in Nova Scotia, we should celebrate our gains across Canada. I support Pierre Poilievre. And in a quite suspicious move here, within minutes of the news coming out that Chris was switching sides, they had already switched his profile over on our parliament's website. Yes, it's almost as if this move was meticulously planned out for days and days or weeks or even months. Now, the reason this move is so dirty is because the Liberals are only like 2-3 seats away from a majority here in Canada. And instead of going to the Canadian people in an election and actually earning a majority, the Liberals are trying to play dirty games, getting people to cross the floor and screwing over the Canadian people so that they can get their majority. And it's truly crazy how just 6 months ago, this man celebrated his win, winning his seat in Nova Scotia as a Conservative member of Parliament.
Chris D'Entremont is going back to Ottawa.
We've got a lot of work to do as a party. We have a lot of work to do as MPs across this great province.
While the rest of Nova Scotia went red, D'Entremont is the only Conservative in the province who was able to hold their ground. Incumbents Rick Perkins in South Shore St. Margaret's and Stephen Ellis in Cumberland Colchester both lost their seats. D'Entremont said issues in the fishery are what won it for him.
But that far and beyond is the number one issue, and one I think that we're going to have to work on over the next bit of trying to find partners to understand this issue.
D'Entremont was focused on his win and his riding. But in a follow-up interview the next day, he waded into a bigger political conversation. There is an apparent rift between Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and Progressive Conservative Premier Tim Houston. D'Entremont says federal and provincial Tories would be wise to align themselves more closely.
There just seems to be always that question of whether we're actually the same kind of conservative, and really doesn't matter what kind of conservative you are. We're a bigger tent sometimes than what maybe some of the other mainstream parties are, but we all have the same issues at heart, and I think we should be working much closer together.
Now, we are going to get into some clips in a little bit of Chris saying the reason he left was because he supports this liberal budget. Now, there is nobody I dislike more than red Tories and these progressive conservatives. What the hell is even that? That makes absolutely no sense. You can't be a progressive and a conservative. Complete oxymoron. But one thing I hate more than them is actual liars, as a couple of weeks ago, Chris was trashing the budget that he is now supporting. Look at this.
I want to speak in support of the Conservative motion because Canadians are hurting. Families are being forced to cut deeply into their grocery budgets just to get by. And frankly, that makes me a little bit angry and a little bit sad. In Southwest Nova Scotia, where I have lived my entire life, people work hard. They want to own a home, feed their children, provide a good education to them, and maybe take a vacation every once in a while. But you know what? Since 2015, everything changed. Since I was first elected here in 2019, the cost of living has skyrocketed. Even then, families in West Nova, it was called at the time, but in Acadianapolis, were struggling. We warned that Liberals, their out-of-control spending and massive deficits were irresponsible. But of course, they didn't listen. And now, after 6 months under a new Prime Minister who promised financial discipline, Canadians are still waiting. He said he'd be judged by the cost at the grocery store. Well, Mr. Speaker, Canadians are judging him, and they are not impressed. Right. Instead of delivering relief, this government delayed its budget. So we're still waiting for a budget. We haven't seen a budget in a year and a half. Why? Because it's projecting an over $92 billion deficit. That's a monstrous, irresponsible burden on future generations.
So full of shit.
We'll hear it, I'm sure, maybe the questions that they're talking about a generational investment. But Mr. Speaker, what it really is a generational debt that my kids, their kids, and their kids' kids are going to have to try to pay in one way or another. That causes inflation and extra costs to future generations.
So yes, folks, a couple of weeks ago, he was against this budget that Mark Carney wants to put on taxpayers. But guess what? He had a sudden change of mind. Ex-MP Rick Perkins spoke to Chris a few days ago, and he told him this. To Rick, he admitted this, if an election is held now, I will lose my seat. I might as well not run. These people stand for nothing. They have no principle. Absolute rats. Now, we both know the real reason Chris did this, but in front of the media today, he bullshitted and lied all kinds and pretended that all of a sudden now he supports this budget and he's gone fully liberal. Look, just look at his eyes. This looks like a guy who sold his soul, up all night last night, no sleep, crying, sold his soul to the devil. And now he's going to try to justify it here.
Let's start with the story of how I got here. I would think over the last number of months, I wasn't feeling that I was aligned with the ideals of what the leader of the opposition had been talking about. So I've been sort of relooking at, what my career is bringing and what I can do for my constituency. So over the last little bit, talking to many of my friends in the Liberal Party, as Deputy Speaker, I got to know a lot of those members personally, ask questions, see what's going on, and understanding the point that we are in Canadian history, where it's time to actually try to lead a country, to try to make it better. And not try to knock it down, not to continue to be negative. In my case, as a Nova Scotian,
no, don't be negative. Don't say what's actually happening in the country. Spoken like a true delusional liberal.
We're always trying to find ways to work together to solve the issues that are important to our communities. And I didn't see it by sitting in the opposition. I saw it by being a part of the government caucus.
And he just continues attacking Pierre Poilievre like the complete liberal rat that he is.
Hey, Mr. Lanterma, just Marco Vigliati from My Politics. Just a quick question. Was there anything tangible, offered towards you by the Liberals, a promise of perhaps a position in cabinet down the line, anything along those lines to get you to cross the aisle?
No, really it had to do with my riding itself. Acadianapolis is a big rural riding with lots of fishery and lots of agriculture and a military base. I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing for them, to make sure that they have the housing and the infrastructures that they need, and I felt this budget was one that was going to provide that.
Last question, Jillian. Some of your former colleagues have already been reacting to this news. They've called you a coward, disingenuous, and disloyal. What's your message to your former colleagues?
Well, I think they should look at themselves and see if they're offering the right thing to Canadians, of trying to build for the world. I mean, we have a great opportunity here in Canada, and rather than knocking people down, we should try to find ways to work together, and that's what I've always tried to do in my career.
Merci.
And Stacey Monette was able to capture this piece of footage here from the end of his press conference where Chris is just being a gigantic dork here, saying, I got a caucus meeting to get to. Look at this.
I can't be late for my first caucus meeting. I can't be late for my first caucus meeting.
Beta, dork, loser, rat, traitor. He is the worst of the worst. And after this press conference, this traitor, this rat, this disloyal man, there's nothing grosser than a man with no loyalty, got treated like a legitimate hero by the rest of the traitors, the entire Liberal caucus.
A good day for Canada.
We're going to move forward.
Look at this. This is so gross. Oh my God. A hero's welcome. A hero's welcome for being a traitor. That is a room full of people with zero morality. Of course he's going to be welcome in there. This is who the Liberals, they're all scum. Sean Fraser giving him a nice hug. Oh my God. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Look at these two giant losers right here. But Mark Carney put out a video of that from the other perspective with real cameras showing his hero's entrance here to the Liberal caucus. Look at this. Look at this. Welcome home. You got a home here, Chris. You're a traitor. You have a home with us. You are extra qualified. You stand for nothing. Welcome to the family. Oh my God. Pathetic. And he even wobbles like a weirdo. Look how he walks. I'm not a small guy, but man, this guy's built like a pear. And Cat Canada was quick to pick up on it and put out this video here. Look at this. Earthquake! Oh, it's so good. Now, nothing quite sums up this entire saga quite like this meme, where it says, he's a conservative, fight liberal waste, see 2025 budget, betray your voters, go full liberal. I absolutely love memes because they are the truth. And for his disloyalty, his beta-ness, his absolute scumbaggery, Chris was rewarded today with Retard of the Day over on the Canadian Retard Finder page. So congratulations to Chris for your disloyalty, for your scumbaggery, and for just being an overall piece of shit. And if this chaos and drama was not enough, apparently there's other MPs who are rumored to be moving to the other teams, changing sides. None other than Dominic Vienne, who's a French MP from Quebec, and another one, Joel Godin, another MP over in Quebec. But thankfully, I have some good news here today. I won't play the video because it is in French, but Dominic Vienne confirms that those are just rumors. None of it is true. And thankfully, she's staying with the Conservatives. Now, I don't have any updates here on the Joel Godin guy. I'll keep you guys posted as I find out. But something else weird happened today as another member of parliament from the Conservatives, Matt Gennaro, locked his X account down today, which just fueled more rumors that other CPC MPs are crossing the floor. But thankfully, those were just some weird occurrences, because Sarah Ryan over at Global News says that Edmonton MP Matt Gennaro's office tells me, despite rumors being circulated in Ottawa, MP Gennaro is not crossing the floor, adding he is also not leaving the Conservative Party. Thank gosh. All right, folks, that's it for this report. But I want to make something really clear. If any other Conservative MPs are considering doing what Chris did, just letting you know, you will be destroyed. We will destroy you. We have no place in our party for rats, for people who have zero loyalty, for people who stand for absolutely nothing. So if you're considering screwing us over like Chris did, this is a warning. You will be destroyed, and your political career will go to the toilet. I promise you that. All right, guys, if you enjoyed today's report, make sure to like this video, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, tell your friends about the pleb, or buy a membership for this channel for only $5 Canadian. My name is the pleb. I'll see you at the next report. Peace.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what